And this year, Governor Greg Abbott made school choice or vouchers one of his top priorities. It creates education savings accounts for families to send children to private school, but it never received a vote in the House due to bipartisan opposition. In a recent survey conducted by the University of Houston and Texas Southern University, almost half of Texas voters support some form of school vouchers. Joining us live are two of the lead authors of this survey, Michael Adams with TSU and Mark Jones with U of H Hobby School of Public Affairs and Rice University. Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
So tell me about the survey and how many respondents participated.
Well, so overall, this is a part of an ongoing project in collaboration between the University of Houston's Hobby School and Texas Southern University's Jordan Leland School. And we interviewed 1,914 Texans, including an oversample of 425 African Americans. And it provides us with a very robust view of this diverse population, which is the goal of the Texas Trend Survey. And one of the topics we studied was support for opposition to different forms of school vouchers and educational savings accounts.
And one of the takeaways, one of the surprising elements of this survey is the support of Black Texans. And there seems to be a groundswell of support coming from Black Texans in terms of, if you look at 65% of the Black residents in Dallas County support school vouchers or educational savings account, and 58% of Blacks in Harris County support that. At one level, it speaks to some dissonance between Black voters and the Texas Legislative Black Caucus in the House of Representatives, where they do not support educational school savings accounts. And it's not really anything new, because historically there has been this discussion between whether or not school vouchers would take away support for public schools. But I think you have to look at what we've seen recently in the state of Texas and also in Houston. I think education, according to some, is the new civil rights issue today if we look at public education access and quality.
You called it surprising, the support that it was getting. Were there any way for the participants to communicate with you, to tell you maybe why they supported it?
Well, so in the actual survey itself, we don't have that information. We didn't ask questions like that. But I think it's pretty clear that I think if you think about sort of the two principal objections to vouchers by the part of Democrats, one has to do with the fact that it'd be sending money to religious schools, and the other would be that it would undermine the quality of public schools. And what we did find in this survey is that the African-American population is much more likely to be attending church and have relatively high levels of religiosity. So therefore, the critiques of the idea that you'd have public money going to religious schools is not as much of a problem for, say, African-American Democrats as it is for white Democrats who tend to be more secular.
Right. And I would also add, in terms of support for parochial schools, in both Black and brown communities, in terms of there's always been attendance for Catholic schools and the like. And so that support is there, and also religious-based schools.
So you've mentioned that you believe that race plays a factor. Political party, people living in rural or city areas, did you see other differences like that?
Oh, we did find some differences in terms of religious church attendance. The more you attend church, the more likely you are to support vouchers. We also found that people who follow news about K through 12 public schools tend to be more supportive of vouchers than those who don't follow it. And we found that those who have children under the age of 18 living with them at home tend to be more supportive of vouchers than those who don't have children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you think now is the future of the vouchers?
Well, there's one day left in the session. It looks as though they would not get a deal in the Texas legislature, and I think that is based upon some acrimony between the chambers. But also, we expect the governor to call another special session. And as you know, in Texas, the governor can call an unlimited number of 30-day special sessions.
So you expect that this is going to keep coming up again and again. You said that one of the surprising findings was, the demographics about this, about who supported this. Were there any other findings that really stood out to you?
Well, in terms of there was a generation gap as well. Gen Zs were more likely to support vouchers than boomers. And if you had children living in your home, you were more likely to support vouchers as opposed to not having them in the home.
And one thing that Michael alluded to is within the Democratic Party, there's a very strong split between Black Democrats and white Democrats. Black Democrats overwhelmingly support vouchers. White Democrats tend to oppose vouchers. And you don't see that split within the Republican Party where white Republicans, Black Republicans, and Latino Republicans all support vouchers.
Do you think that there's any reflection of public schools with this? Or do you think it's just people's personal religious beliefs?
Oh, clearly, I think we see it in the rural areas. You have to understand that the House of Representatives is majority Republican. I think there are about 16 or 17 holdouts, and these Republicans are in the rural areas, if they can get those. And if you look at some of the stories coming out of the rural areas, it's kind of personal. The state representative has somebody who's been superintendent or somebody's in his family. So there's a personal stake there. They feel that taking the monies away from the public schools will actually, ruin them and have an impact on their economy.
Right. And by the same token, in the urban areas, you have sentiment among many African Americans that the schools are, in their mind, not performing well. And so they're looking for something other than the status quo. And then for them, vouchers or school choice represents some potential option compared to the status quo, which they see as failing their children.
Yeah. Well, I will be interested to see what else you guys, begin to study and what other things that you find, because I'm sure, as you mentioned, this is an issue that probably isn't going to disappear anytime soon. Mark Jones and Michael Adams, thank you so much for joining me this morning.